ladies and gentlemen, we have many guests on the Wrestle Plug, as you know, but none more so and none more interesting than my guest today, Adira from the Reach Wrestling Academy. A lot of wrestlers have had plenty to say, but one person we've wanted to hear from is Adira. Welcome to the podcast, Adira.
It's nice to be here, Matt.
It's a pleasure to have you, to be honest. Yeah, your name comes up a lot. It really does. It comes up a lot. Some good, some bad, but we're fans and we like that disposition and we like to be a little bit uncomfortable here as well. So we are very much looking forward to this opportunity there. You know, like I've said, welcome to the podcast. But first of all, how are you coping with things, coronavirus and everything? Are you still able to train to a certain extent? Everything all right on that end?
I'm holding up, I guess. Not really much space to train. I think about it a lot. I think about fighting a lot. Sort of like getting serious cabin fever. I don't know. It's weird. It's real weird. It's not something any of us are used to, let alone someone like me. I mean, nothing's ever going to replace going to the unit and kicking the crap out of someone. You know what I mean? Like, it just ain't the same. Like, I could do push-ups or whatever and that make me feel better, but it's not the same, you know? I'm not an athlete necessarily. I'm a fighter. I go in there and I hit as hard as I can and I do as much damage as I can. I'm not there to impress or anything like that, so I'm just there to knock someone out. So that's what I'm missing right now, is that actual physical contact.
Obviously, since the pandemic has hit, some of your colleagues, some of your trainees, I wouldn't go as far as friends, obviously. I imagine most of these people are nothing more than accessories of violence towards you, but we've had individuals come on a podcast, mention you. Some have said some nice things. Others have been a little less flattering in your direction. What's it like, from your perspective, to hear people have so much to say about you, but obviously not being able to kind of say it to your face, so to speak?
Well, for one thing, they wouldn't have the fucking guts to say it to my face. Because they never fucking do. They never say it to my face. It's always behind a camera, always behind my back. I don't expect anything different, really, than to chat shit when I'm not around. It catches up with them, because eventually I do get my hands on them, and then they regret it. I don't really care what people think about me. I don't ask for anyone's approval. I never have. I've been doing this longer than any of them in the academy. I did this for years, the only woman in the Southwest. For years. I don't give a shit. They can say what they want.
I was curious to know what it's like being pretty much the first woman, the first administrator of violence in that region. Like, you were doing this, like you say, a lot longer than others. Like, do you feel like Reach Academy is somewhere that you can now settle after all the journeys that you've had?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's night and day compared to what it used to be like. You know, I'd say it was a bit rough before, a bit rough around the edges. Reach has completely changed the landscape of the Southwest, and now we have other women that I can fight, and they're all good. Like, they're all great. Like, I'm not gonna say that they don't know how to wrestle. They know how to wrestle. I'm never going to tell them they can't wrestle ever. They're all great. Don't mean I'm not gonna kick a shit out of them, but they are great. And yeah, I got a lot of matches I can have. A lot of people that'll really put me through my paces. I'll actually really enjoy it. Even worse, being cooped up inside is, you know, you thinking about having matches and you're getting all worked up and stuff. I can't just go out and do it now. But yeah, Reach is great. I love it. It's what I've been hoping for the 7 years I've been involved in this business. It's finally happened. And it kind of happened when I took a like sort of bow of absence. I was done. I was like, I'll move on. You know, I didn't have many people to fight, especially women, and I was just like, whatever. And then I just noticed that more and more women were coming up, and I was like, I need to get in on that, because that was my crown. It was my place as a woman of the Southwest. So I come back and take it back. It's a challenge. I won't be happy until every single one of the Reach Academy is under my fucking boot.
I respect that honesty. Putting it bluntly, like you say, you want the entire women's roster under your boot, if not the male roster as well, because let's be honest, it's an equal opportunity ass-kicking machine. That's what I see in front of me. Who's really pissing you off right now? Who do you think really needs to be taught a lesson at this point?
Well, Aurora didn't get her first lesson very well. It didn't quite sink into her brain exactly what I'm capable of. And now she's running her mouth again. It's kind of funny. I don't understand it. I don't understand why people sometimes just wake up with a death wish. You know, what I did to her mother, and she definitely sanitized what happened because I pushed that woman. I'm not ashamed of it. I couldn't give a shit. If she's disabled, I pushed her because she got gobby all up in my face. And I'm not about to just let some old woman do that and tell me how I should act in the ring. I don't give a damn. And I knew that it would get under Aurora's skin, and it did. She still didn't beat me. It wasn't enough for her to, you know, rally up and beat me. It was great. I loved that. And I'm not sorry. And if she wants an apology, she can hold her breath and choke and fucking die. I don't give a shit.
Would you do it again?
I would do it 1,000,000 times over. I would carry her entire family out in front of her and bury them one by one till she got the fucking message to back the fuck off. She needs to understand exactly what happens when you get in my way. And she goes around, she's sort of like this little sort of paragon of perfection. You know, she's a personal trainer and she's pretty. And she gets on my nerves because she's, in a way, kind of everything I hate. You know, I'm about as rough around the edges as you get. I'm sort of stone butch killer. And I'm not afraid to show that. And I gave her at least the opportunity to fucking learn. But she apparently don't get it through her head. Apparently that's an invitation for another beating. And she'll get another beating and another beating and another beating till she gets it. Now, she's going to have to wait until I've absolutely eviscerated Matt Evans. But once I'm done with him, once I've decided to tear his head from his body and break his ribs, then I'll move on to her and I'll do exactly the same again. I don't really care if I offended her, if I hurt her mother. I couldn't give a damn if I put her mother in the goddamn hospital. I don't care. I'm glad it got under her skin, and I hope that it bothers her every single fucking day. Because I know that I've gotten in her head. I'm living rent-free inside her head. I'm already winning. But she needs to learn to back down. She's clearly not been the sort of person that's learnt to back down when you're out of your depth. Because I got a lot more that I could do. And I could be a lot more vicious. And I could hurt a lot more people that mean a lot to her. So if she carries on, all she's going to have is more blood on her hands from running her mouth.
Talk to me about Matt Evans. Where does Matt Evans fit into this equation? Like, I look at Matt Evans, and I'm sure he's a very nice guy, but, you know, this isn't a personality contest. Why has he all of a sudden decided that it would be a good idea for him to get in the way of somebody who could administer such a beatdown like yourself?
Coward's version of suicide?
I
don't know. I mean, he's a fellow Welsh lad. I'm Welsh too. I don't really know. I don't really know what goes on in his head. I would suggest maybe you should get a therapist. It's a lot easier way out, because I'm going to destroy him. And I think he knows it. Judging by how he acts, he kind of knows it. I mean, he can try. He's more than welcome to try, and he can hit me as hard as he likes. I'm still not going to go down. I mean, we're doing this whole thing, you know, men versus women. Oh, you're going against Matt Evans. All right, cool. He's got every chance to prove me wrong. Because understand this, I give everyone a chance to prove me wrong. You know, I don't go out there, you know, thinking, oh, I'm hot shit. I know what I'm capable of. I know what I'm capable of from seeing what I've done to other people. I give people fair warning. They don't come bitching at me when something bad happens. So I guess he's learning the hard way. Maybe don't go against someone like me. And I hope that it lasts with him for the rest of his life. I hope that he learns something real important to take with him.
Is there a male individual that you'd like to face? Matt Evans has been thrown in front of you. With all due respect to Matt Evans, I imagine that isn't that great a challenge for you, at least in your mindset. Is there somebody at the pinnacle that you think, I want a slice of that? Because let's be honest, you're a destroyer, and destroyers want to take down the biggest articles in front of them. Who would you really ideally like to destroy at this point?
I mean, it'd be stupid of me not to say Joey 7 because he's holding gold. And if you're not in it for gold, like, why are you here? I mean, he is a bit of a pretty boy Chad, you know what I mean? Like, and there's something real punchable about that. Kind of want to make that face a little bit more asymmetrical, you know what I mean? Really sort of Quasimodo him up a bit. See how he feels after that. Hold that belt above him. Make him feel pain he hasn't felt before. Like I said, I'm no great athlete. I've never pretended to be. You know, I'm one step above bar fighting. I just don't back down, and I get a rush off pain. So where other people are deterred, it just fires me up more. Just hit me, hit me again. So yeah, of course it'd be Joey 7. Like, he's the champ. I want to destroy the champ. I want to be known as the person who destroys the champ. I question anyone who doesn't feel that way, because that's what we should be doing. We should be aiming for the top. Anyone else, I'd probably say Danny Steele. I'd like to have a match with, because he's a stiff hitter. He's got that sort of core wrestling to him that I like, and I feel like we could knock 7 shades of shit out of each other. So that's for a different reason. I think that would just be really fun.
Sounds like there's a bit of respect there for Danny Steele. Is there anyone, like might be a bit of a stretch with, you know, your mentality towards these people, but is there anyone that you respect or, dare I say, enjoy being around more than others?
Taylor. I like Taylor. For now. She ain't pissed me off yet.
She's on the right side.
Yeah, she's pretty. That's not why. She's got a good streak in her I like. She's one of the only people I can talk to and not want to hit immediately. So I guess that qualifies. I mean, obviously she's good, but everyone in Reach is good. Every single one of them. You know, there ain't a bad one amongst us. And that's the point. And Taylor's proven herself. Then if, you know, she gets the belt, then she's got a target on her back, though. You know, all my respect, all how I feel becomes irrelevant because then she's a target. So those feelings could change. Any way I feel about someone, always subject to change. I'm a little bit fickle like that, I guess.
That's fair. How long do you think it is before you reach the mountaintop? You don't exactly look like somebody who is lacking the potential and the ability to be the champion of this company. Do you think that they're a little bit nervous about the idea of putting you in with some of their more marquee talents? Do you think that maybe they're a little bit worried that you might just do what you say and make someone like Joey 7 look a little less shiny and a little less appealing?
Maybe they're afraid like I'll hurt them beyond repair. Maybe they just don't want someone like me, you know, representing as a top brand. I know I'm not family friendly, never have been, and I don't wrestle for show. You know what I mean? Like, nothing I do is for show. Everything I do is for results. I'm kind of scary, I guess. I don't think I'm scary. Other people seem to think I'm very scary. But maybe not. I don't know. I don't know how they think. Because, like, they obviously want to see me do more. I wonder if they're just wondering how far they can push me, you know, before I start demanding stuff. I think my actions will speak for themselves. I won't give them a choice in the end. I mean, I'll have to run through everyone anyway, and eventually they're going to have to at least give me a shot.
Jason and Grayson listen to this podcast. Talk to them directly. Tell them what you want.
Well, I want a shot of gold. I was the only woman in the Southwest for 7 years. They came up when I was coming up. You know, they've known me for a long time. Yeah, I remember, like, back in, like, LEP days, like, Jason King would avoid the shit out of me because I terrified the crap out of him. And anytime he saw me, he'd quickly turn the other way. Like, he was like, no, I'm not having any of that. I don't think there's malice there. I don't think they're like, oh, no, don't give it to Adira. Maybe they're just a bit scared, or maybe they, you know. I'm still, like, in terms of reach, I'm still relatively new. Like, I came in last year, like the end of last year, middle to the end of last year. So I can understand, there are people in front of me, and I respect that. I don't mind waiting in line as long as they, give me people to beat in the meantime, because I'll prove myself. I don't need to worry about that. I don't think they're doing anything intentional. At least I'd hope not. But I don't think they're doing anything intentional. If I keep running through people, my opportunities will come because they won't have a choice. The bodies will be stacking high.
You mentioned LEP. Is that where you got your start?
I got my start originally in PWA in 2012. Yeah, 2012 PWA. Then I did LEP. Then I took a break, and then I came back to do Reach. So I think it was for like a year and a half. I was just training on mats, and the scene back then was like completely different how the scene is now. Like, it's night and day. But yeah, I did a lot in LEP, but I got my start in PWA. Yeah, I did it for years, and most of the time I was fighting men because there were no women to fight. And in fact, the only girl, that I was fighting is my girlfriend. She used to wrestle, and we used to have matches with each other all the time. It seems like an age away now. It was so long ago. And it was so completely different how it is now. But I enjoyed my time in every promotion I've ever put my foot in, I'm grateful for every match I've ever had, for every time people have ever let me go out there. And every time I went out there, I realized just how far I could push my viciousness, push my violence. And it's sort of a monster they created, but I'm glad they made it. I'm glad they created it, because I wouldn't be the person I am without those experiences.
The fact that you took a break speaks, I'm not sure what that speaks to, so I'll let you answer that question. You took a break for about a year and a half. Why did you step away from the sport?
I kind of felt a bit lost and a bit like I didn't have a place. And I was just kind of floating around and nothing was happening. And like, PWA died a death. And that hit me hard. Like, when PWA ended, that hit me hard because that was where I got my start. And I did an awful lot for that promotion for years. And so I guess I just felt kind of depressed. And it got to the point where wrestling just kind of felt a bit painful, and I needed to step away from it to sort my head out. But what happened with that then is, absence makes the heart grow fonder. And I realized how much I hated being away from it. But when I started doing it again, I realized just how much I love it and how much I love hitting people in the face really, really hard. It was accumulation of a lot of things, but when PWA went under, I guess I had a bit of a broken heart for it, and I needed to get away from it to get over it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense. It's kind of cool, actually, because a lot of the women that have come on the podcast, and just the individuals in general that have come on the podcast and spoken about the Southwest, we've had a lot of them on. We're very embedded in their culture at this point. And you're, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the originators of everything. Like, people forget that. People come to the Reach shows and they have a good time, and they scream and they shout and they make a lot of noise, and they ultimately walk away thoroughly happy and content with what they've seen. But what a lot of them won't realise is the fact that for the best part of 7 or 8 years, you have actually been the dominant women's force. And I don't even like using the term women, I just say force, because I have no doubt that you could literally knock the shit out of most of, if not all, the men in this division. As a compliment, it has to be said that it's actually really refreshing and nice to know that you have been around for so long, and I think people need to recognize that. Maybe that's why certain people have things to say about you, because they're not aware of the fact that you have been around in this game a long time, and ultimately, you need longevity in this sport to have any credibility. We've spoken about Aurora, we've spoken about Matt Evans, we even mentioned LA Taylor and Joey Seven. The women's division seems to have an intriguing mentality towards you. Somebody who actually speaks about you quite fondly, I don't know if that's just out of fear, is Echo Reed. Is there a temptation to get back in the ring with Echo Reed anytime soon?
Yeah, I guess there is. She's a bit of a prodigy. She's very, very young. And when she stepped in the ring with me, she was biting off more than she could chew from that beginning bell, and she knew it, but she still gave it everything. I always like to see if people want to take that chance. It's nice she's got nice things to say about me, that's for sure. It's very rare I beat someone to a pulp and they've got nice things to say about me after, but I think that's very her, that's very part of who she is. She took a pasting and she didn't feel bitter about it in any way. I've got to respect that in a way, because that's what you got to be like. You got to take your pastings and get back up. Yeah, I'd fight her again. Easy. I love to see what she's learned with all these other fights that she's getting into. I want to see if she's tapped into a little bit more of a vicious streak, if she's going to be less coy. Because that's what I want to see. I want to see that out of everyone. But I definitely want to see it out of her, because she's very much like, she's what I call the runt of the litter. She's a little runt. And I want her to prove me wrong. I get a certain joy sometimes out of watching people prove me wrong. So it's on you, Echo. You prove me wrong. I'm open to it any time. Just prove me wrong.
Why is it that we're looking at Adira, we're looking at how angry, how aggressive you are, there's a rage, there's an enjoyment as well about the way that you administer your beatdowns, the way that you administer your violence. You clearly enjoy what you do. Has this always been the case? Take me back a little bit. Let's play therapist for a moment. Let's go back to when Adira was young. Have you always enjoyed putting a beating, putting a hurting on unfortunate people and on unfortunate souls?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I was bullied mercilessly. I was bullied a lot by boys more than girls, because girls never had the balls to fight me, especially like schoolgirls, because schoolgirl bullies are hardly ever like actually the toughest birds around. So often I would get my ass kicked by like groups of like 6 or 7 lads, like on the regular, like every day. And eventually you got to learn to stand up for yourself. So when I started launching lads down hallways, I realized, I'm good at this. I can actually fight. I don't have to take shit. And yeah, from that point onwards, I was like, yeah, I love this. I love getting into fights, and I love the adrenaline that it brings you. I like feeling a little bit sore and worse for wear afterwards, and like seeing if you're bleeding. It becomes a rush. It becomes something that you sort of hope happens. Because you're like, oh yeah, great. Teach you a lesson. So yeah, I would say like, those bullies when I was, fucking 10, 11 years of age, they created the monster because they made me realize how much I like this and what I'm like and what I'm capable of. And I realized, I'm actually a lot stronger than a lot of women. And I've got this side of me where I can just like switch off my emotions, and all of a sudden like there are like 5 bodies around me. It's like I'll go black out, and next thing I know, I've destroyed people. So yeah, I'd say that it came from a very, very young age. I definitely didn't just like stroll into wrestling class and then realize like, oh shit, I love doing this. If anything, learning how to wrestle gave me an outlet I could do that wouldn't get me in trouble more than anything else. But yeah, I'm always jonesing for a fight. I mean, any of the people in Reach know that. Like, they know when I come in, I'm jonesing for a fight. Immediately, they see it in my eyes. So, yeah.
Tell me about that first bloodlust, that first time that you remember truly, because you said bullying, but when you first truly hurt someone, tell me how that feeling was, because obviously that's a addictive feeling. I understand that as somebody who likes to administer a lot of pain myself. Tell me what it's like. Tell me how that's built you as an individual, built you as a fighter. Is there a real bloodlust for violence and pain and suffering?
Yeah, it's hard to completely pinpoint it down, because like when you're in the moment, when like you first experience it, it's such a wave of emotions. You're trying to fight against yourself. You're trying yourself, that good part of yourself always tells you like, no, you shouldn't do that. It's not good for you. And then the other part of me is like, I'm gonna fucking kill him. It's the feeling, I guess. Like, truthfully, and I think anyone who answers it honestly will tell you this, it's a control, it's a power thing. We all like, in our own way, to establish power in our lives, whether it's like we choose what to wear, or we choose what we eat, or we stick to a schedule. My way of doing it is making people cry. Once I knew I had that ability, then that's what I wanted. I was like, yes, this is it. This is what I can do to establish my own power. Everyone's got power, and you establish it differently, and that's what I did. And I realized I didn't have to be anyone's bitch. And it was a great relief, a great release to not have to worry about that sort of stuff anymore. That actually, I can make other people my bitch. And it's a huge adrenaline rush, and it just goes to your head, and you feel a bit dizzy, and then that passes, and then you feel kind of hyper-focused afterwards. It's kind of like a drug, and it's hella addictive. You can see why, like, in the wrong hands, in like the super wrong hands, it can be real dangerous. Fortunately for me, I found a way to do it in a controlled environment that won't get me in trouble, or at least not in too much trouble. But once you get it, I don't think you lose it. I don't think you can untrain a person once. It was like once you tasted blood, that's it. That's what you want, and you want more of it. So, yeah.
Yeah. The platform has always been about the wrestler, always been about the fighter, and that's how we conduct ourselves here. Floor is yours. Is there anything in particular you'd like to say? Is there anyone that you would like to speak to directly? Because this is not, I have no doubt that you will do so face to face and in person. But obviously, this is a chance to advance your brand, to advance your knowledge so that other people can understand who you are and what you do. What would you like to say to our audience and for anyone listening? Because you know that quite literally every single person associated with Reach will be listening to this fervently and with interest.
Well, if you're part of Reach, especially if you're part of the Academy, I'm coming after you eventually one way or another. Anything you do, you're just delaying the inevitable. Eventually, I'm going to get my hands around your throat, or my forearms going in your throat, or I'm going to spear you so hard that you break in two, or I submit you while I'm bending you in all sorts of ungodly positions that you just pray for the sweet release of death. Anyone that watches wrestling, keep your eye out, because I'm not just going to settle anymore for just being here and there every so often. And if anything, this isolation has kind of made me realize that more than anything else, because when you're stuck indoors all day, you realize just how much you miss, especially how much I miss being violent. And don't get offended when you see what I do to people. I don't want to see anyone crying. You know what you've come to see. If you've come to see a show, and I'm on the card, and that's what you're getting. So don't get pissy at me when one of your favourites is crying for it to stop. And a little message out to Matt Evans: write your will and testament. Make sure that all your legal things are all nice and sorted before you die. I don't want to leave your family in a rut of paperwork, especially in such a trying time. And Aurora, you carry on, and I will end your career before it's barely even begun. I hate you. I loathe you. And I'd quit while you're ahead, because it didn't end well for you last time. And I'm going to go worse on you next time. And you better keep your goddamn family out of the arena, because who knows what I'll do to them next. I don't give a damn about you. I don't give a damn about your family, your friends, your livelihood. I'll break your legs. I'll break your back. I'll break your neck. I don't give a damn. So it's your funeral. I'll line you up next to Matt Evans. I don't care. Bring it. We'll sit the fuck down.
Very succinct. I like that. Where can people find you on social media if they're brave enough or stupid enough to converse with you in a manner that is nothing but complimentary?
Oh, they can chat shit to me. It's fine. I mean, cowards hide on social media all the time. Yeah, they can find me on Instagram under Adira Good Clean Violence, Adira Wrestler on Facebook, and Adira, I think it's Adira PW GCV on Twitter. Yeah, they can chat shit if they want. I don't really care. I mean, it's pretty much what, like, everyone I'm fighting has no problem chatting shit with me online anyway. They get more comeuppance, though. Like, I'm allowed to hit them.
Would you encourage fans to approach you at the show and discuss things with you, maybe if they are fans of you, or would you advise them to still keep their distance?
Well, it depends what they're going to say.
Mm.
If they're brave enough to chat shit to my face, then they must accept the consequences. I'm not just going to let them. So, like, I don't care. And I'll try not to get in too much trouble. Sometimes I gotta promise to be good. But ultimately, I think if you're thinking that what you're about to say to me might be a bad idea, then it might be best to err on the side of caution and keep your mouth shut. Just a little bit of common sense goes a very, very long way.
I would advise that people tread lightly. Thank you for your time. It has been a pleasure. I actually love talking to you, and I actually really love your style. It's quite intoxicating, actually. It's very good fun. I quite enjoy it. I've always been in admiration of people who administer violence without remorse. You are an artist, however, on a different side of things as well, and I thought it was very important that we just give it a very brief mention, if you will. You are a very talented artist, and I would like you to take this opportunity to plug that, and if there's anything you'd like to talk about, anything like, commissions, or even if you just do it as a hobby, where people can find you, because Adira is also a highly accomplished artist and a very talented individual. Yeah,
I do mostly like comic work style stuff. I'm like formally trained, and I noticed what a lot of people don't actually think. They see me and you think that I'm a bit of a knuckle dragger. I haven't got anything between my ears, but no, I am an artist. On Instagram, Adira Art. Yeah, it's my second passion. I wouldn't necessarily say it's even second. It is on the same level. I love both for very different reasons. And yeah, I love to do work. If anyone wants anything commissioned done for them, just contact me, because I'll do some real cool artwork as well. So yeah.
Yeah, as somebody who works in a multitude of fields in that department, I strongly urge anyone listening, if you want good work done and you want it to look professional, Adira is the person to speak to. So make sure you find your way towards those social media links, and of course we'll drop those in the podcast as well. So make sure you check out the descriptions if you didn't catch them the first time round. But as Adira has made very clear, I suggest you listen well, and things will probably go a lot more smoother for you. The platform is yours. Close us out. I will allow you to end this podcast with your overriding message of what you'd like to say.
I want a nice, large body count. I want people to break into a sweat when my name is mentioned. I want people to feel a shiver run up their spine when they know they're facing me. And I want that Reach Academy title. And then I want to know how many people have got the guts to try to take it out of my hands. I want to see just how many people have a death wish.